What's up guys, it's House here, and as of recording this, it has been 10 years since the Destiny 1 servers launched. I wanted to take some time today to take a look back at a game franchise that has meant a lot to me over the past decade, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have a similar experience. This is kind of my retrospective look at my experience with Destiny as a whole, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. I remember initially hearing about the game, seeing those early trailers, and being pretty excited. I was never a big Halo kid, but I always respected Bungie for what they did. The few times I played Halo at a friend's house or a LAN party, two things became very evident. One, I was absolute cheeks at the Halo games, but two, they felt really, really smooth to play. The gunplay, the movement, everything felt wonderful. I'd never really experienced anything like it. So to hear that Bungie was making a new science fiction franchise as well as focusing on elements of MMO, RPG aspects, it was pretty exciting for me. I was looking for a new game to sink my teeth into and devote a lot of time to, as I was a single man living in the city. Working until midnight, I had a lot of free time after that. I remember playing the beta and having a great experience with that, even getting to set foot on the moon for the first time at the very end of the beta. It was a wonderful time. And the YouTube channel I was working for at the time as an editor and doing occasional voiceover actually decided that because of how everyone was reacting to the game, they wanted to cover the game itself. Since I was the only person involved who had actually played the game, it was up to me to make the video. I definitely had a lot to say and wanted to talk to people about the game, but the issue was I recorded absolutely none of my footage. Luckily, in my early hype for the game, I soaked up every piece of information I could on YouTube that was available at the time, so I was very familiar with other channels that had footage from the alpha. I was actually able to reach out to another channel and get permission to use their footage as long as I credited them for our video, so that was pretty cool of them. It was some small little channel, I think called Dado. Yeah, you may have heard of him. He was a really chill guy, and I had a great experience making that video, even though it wasn't really something that fit the niche for our channel at the time. I enjoyed making it. The midnight release came, and I remember being so excited. I actually took a couple days off from work just so I could have time to devote to the game itself. For those of you that never got the experience of going to a midnight release for like a physical release of a game, I feel bad for you. I'd done it a lot all through college for Call of Duty and other games, but to do it for Destiny was a whole different experience. Everybody in the line was abuzz with excitement, talking about which class they were going to main and what experiences we were going to have. I remember getting home, downloading that first patch, and launching into this brand new universe as a warlock, excited to experience it all. And that was the beginning of Destiny 1. Now, I won't lie, it was a little rough at launch. The story left a lot of people wanting, myself included, but I enjoyed what was there. That classic Bungie gameplay and the shooting mechanics were just perfecto, chef's kiss. I actually exchanged gamer tags with a lot of people in line at that midnight release and ended up playing the first few missions with them, but over time, a lot of those people kind of fell off, got distracted by other games. So I was kind of left lone wolfing it, which would be a trend for my Destiny career. I didn't seem to mind, though. I enjoyed being able to just log in and grind for materials or try to get new weapons, just see what this world held for me. The Dark Below and House of Wolves came and went, and they were interesting, but they didn't really address the major issues that a lot of people had with Destiny 1. I made some friends during House of Wolves trying to do the Prison of Elders, and when the Taken King came out, it kind of re-established what Destiny was. With those friends I had made, we made a clan, and we actually completed my first and only complete raid of Destiny, the entire franchise. King's Fall was an incredible experience, and I'll never forget grinding through for hours with my fire team, trying to figure it all out. Around that time, I actually switched from Warlock to Titan because my fire team needed more balance. I always wanted to be the person that kind of supported the team anyway, though, so it kind of worked out for me. I enjoyed being able to drop a bubble to not only increase our damage, but also secure a clutch res. It was a great time, and even though I played it so much that I kind of got burnt out by the time Rise of Iron came out, I had a good time with that as well. We almost completed the Wrath of the Machine raid, but we got stuck at the very last sliver of health on Axis, and of course we were like, it's been a long time. We'll finish it tomorrow, guys. We'll reconvene. But we didn't reconvene that next day, or that next week. Things slowly started to fall apart with my friend group and my clan, and maybe just maybe that was a sign of things to come. Destiny 2 gets announced and the hype cycle begins all over again. It looks new and fresh, and I try out the beta, and while I'm having a great time, I can't help but shake the feeling that something's a little off. We definitely feel slower, and the double primary meta is a questionable choice, to say the least, but I'm still excited. I'm ready to get in and explore new areas and learn more about this world that I've fallen in love with. I do the midnight release again, but this time digitally, and I take time off from work again so I can enjoy 5 solid days of Destiny 2. There was definitely some release awkwardness with this as well, as anyone who played during that time will tell you that the Red War campaign was lacking. The RPG aspects were simplified, and the gun meta, like we mentioned earlier, just felt odd. Everything felt a little weird, but I still put time into the game. Those friends I'd made during Destiny 1 came back at the very beginning, but slowly dwindled off. Curse of Osiris and Warmind came and went, and the boys would come in and check everything out, but quickly go back to Overwatch or Call of Duty. I couldn't really blame them. I was playing mostly out of sunk cost at that point, and that would only get worse as time would go on. Forsaken was a shining moment where we were revitalized and reminded of what Destiny could be. I'll never forget seeing the trailer and understanding that this was going to be a shift in the overall tone. Killing off Gate 6, you know they mean business now. The surprise of exploring the Dreaming City after completing the campaign with the Barons was incredible. And for a brief moment, exploring around and not really understanding anything about the area reminded me of that feeling I had when I first started playing Destiny 1. Slowly though, the new content glow wore off, and I was left alone again. Shadowkeep arrived and was confusing and didn't really engage me. Beyond Light was a little bump up, but it kind of felt stale after a while. Stasis was kind of a pain to grind for, but around this time I did decide to return back to playing Warlock full time. I didn't really have a fire team, so I didn't have to worry about fitting in with a specific build, so I might as well play this class that I originally fell in love with and switch it up a little bit from the Titan playstyle. At this point, the seasonal grind became a chore, and I wasn't really engaging with it. I didn't complete many, if any, of them. I would pop in from time to time for something to do, but other games kind of distracted me. The Witch Queen came out and once again grabbed my attention and reminded me of what Destiny can be. It gave me hope for the future for the first time in a long time. I'd always hoped that things on the horizon would work out well for the game, that things would be better. But with the Witch Queen, that was the first time that I actually felt justified in those feelings. Boy, that bit me in the ass, right? Lightfall came out and felt empty. There were a lot of hollow promises. Strand was there, sure, but just felt weird. Unlocking it was arguably more of a chore than even getting Stasis unlocked. We needed them to deliver something incredible, like Witch Queen again, but instead what we got was rushed and incomplete. They burned a lot of goodwill with the community. A lot of people did not come back for the final shape, simply because of their experience with Lightfall. And to be honest with you, even though I came back, I wasn't really that invested at this point. I was getting burned out after playing for nearly 10 years. Into the Light brought Onslaught, which was a fun distraction for a little bit, and I even decided to try and create a hunter just to switch it up and see if I could re-engage myself in the game. I guess it just goes to show that you either die a hero or you live long enough to become a hunter main, but don't worry, I switched back to Warlock when the final shape arrived. The final shape came out, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as perfect as I think a lot of people were claiming at the time, but it was nice to have something new to explore and a conclusion to the story for once. I enjoyed grinding again for the first time in what felt like forever, and putting time in just exploring areas and trying to figure out what I needed to do to progress my power. But by the time the episodic content rolled around with the Vex, I couldn't really be bothered to put more time into it. I'd come to realize something over my time playing the game, and especially during the final shape, as it's all kind of really focused around nostalgia and tying up any loose ends from the story that's taken place over a decade. I realized that my life now is way different than it was 10 years ago. I'm no longer single, I'm no longer living in the city, I'm no longer working until midnight. I have different responsibilities and family obligations. I'm not that guy anymore. And I think a lot of people are quick to say that Destiny isn't the game that we fell in love with, but we're different too. And that's okay. After 10 years, if you're not different, you're doing something wrong. So what now? I appreciate all my time with Destiny. I really do. I look back on those memories and those friends that I made during that time, and even though I feel in some ways I've wasted a lot of time devoting my life to this game and putting time and money into it, I wouldn't change anything if I could. I'll never forget that feeling in those early days of Destiny, of trying to figure everything out, being unsure of what I was experiencing and not knowing what was around any given corner, in the next cave or hidden on the next planet. I've come to realize I was chasing that feeling this whole time, that experience of everything being strange and unknown. But once you put as much time into the game as I did, you kind of begin to know everything. I was chasing that nostalgic feeling, but as they say, you can never truly go home. You can go back to the same locations, you can do the same things you used to do, but everything is different, and that's okay. That's part of life. To be honest with you, I'll probably dip out from here. I may pop back in from time to time and experience the different things that the story has for me, but I don't think I'll be able to devote the time and energy that I previously put into this game. Destiny was an incredible journey, and I'm thankful for it. But at this point, I'm ready to see what's next out there for me. Thank you so much for taking some time to listen to me ramble about my nostalgic memories of this franchise. It really means a lot to me, and it has been formative into who I became over the last 10 years. To all the random people I had in my clans throughout my time in the game, and even the random people I matched with in the Strike playlist or Crucible, I just want to thank you all for being part of this community. You all, in some small way, were part of my experience with this game, and I want to thank you for it. Thank you all for being part of a community that was a big part of making a lonely guy like me feel like there were other people who understood him. Feel free to let me know in the comments below your experiences with Destiny. I'm sure we all have stories that are similar, but they're all unique in their own ways. So I'd love to start a discussion just talking about your time with this franchise. But that's all for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon, friends.